Hey, what's going on, Guardian? Silent Someone Night here, and if you spent any time in the Crucible since the new season began, then you've probably seen a few things that you didn't even know existed. Yes, I'm talking about those weird things called auto rifles, and the people specifically using Hardlight, Soros Regime, and quite possibly any other 600 round per minute. Also, guys, excuse the terrible game footage, but I've been away from the PvP games for quite a while, and I gotta relearn some of the stuff and things, including some of the tips I have for you guys today. Anyway, let's go ahead and get to the video. So there's a number of videos describing how nasty auto rifles are right now, specifically Hardlight, and I like to think that we'll be seeing a lot more of them in trials. But that being said, here's some tips that I've learned from playing in previous auto rifle metas, specifically vanilla D1 and the launch of D2. These will not just help in Destiny, but other SPS games as well. So anyway, here's the first tip. Don't be afraid to pre-fire. Autos have significantly more ammo in comparison to other primaries, and with this recent buff, you only need about 10 bullets for a kill. So by all means, go ahead and spray and pray, boys. Oh, and a quick tip for any of you guys using a Hardlight: if you get someone low and they manage to get behind cover, try to ricochet some bullets up the wall. Even if you don't secure that kill, if you get one bullet on them, that's enough to stop the regen for a few seconds, allowing you to get into a better position or push up on them. And another thing, that's also a great way to zone people off from rushing you as well in case you're low. So keep that in mind. Alright, Guardians, tip number 2, work on mixing up that straight game. This is a big one. Listen, man, you got so many different disco lights going on right now that you gotta learn some new moves. Autos are a tracking weapon, so throwing off even one bullet could be the reason you live, or waiting for that res or respawn timer. It's something you guys need to try to get down. This not only affects just auto rifles, but other weapons like hand cannons to an extent, pulse rifles, and scout rifles. Don't just go left and right on the joystick. Sometimes take long strays, take short strays, or mix them up. It goes a long way, and I guarantee you will throw someone's aim off. It's happened multiple times to me in this meta just alone, or just season just alone. Number 3, guys, and yeah, I could taste some of the salt right now coming from the comment section. Anyways, crouch spam. So in tip number 2, I said mixing up your strafe game is important. Well, eventually your opponent is going to learn those funky dance moves of yours, and you're going to need to do something extra to throw them off. Well, nothing will throw off your opponent more than just dropping it like it's hot. Let me tell you, it is effective. It will catch people off guard. Generally in the FPS, the goal is to aim for the head so you can do as much damage as possible in a little amount of time. So that being said, with the auto rifle, if they're constantly aiming for the head and you just crouch, for example, then that's 3, 4, 5 bullets that just went right past you. And since you're crouched and still firing, then you can immediately do that much damage in terms of them. That's usually the difference. And also, for example, like a hand cannon, to where they get so much damage in just one bullet in comparison to their auto rifle, which takes 3, 4 bullets to do the same amount of damage. That entire damage would just skip right over you. Now, tip number 4 isn't as big as the previous 2 tips, but it could still be very effective if you know how to use it. But anyways, work on mixing your strafe game and those funky dance moves of yours, and occasionally dropping it like it's hot. This applies to all weapons, like I mentioned, like the hand cannons earlier. So just try to start experimenting and see what works for you, and what you like to do as well. Now, tip number 5, this is a big one. Pay very, very close attention to your radar. You would generally look down your sights significantly longer than those nasty things we call hand cannons, pulse rifles, and scout rifles. So it is very easy for someone to flank you. And if you're not paying attention, that could be the difference between you living and you dying. This is also a giant tip for you sniper lovers out there as well, because a lot of you sometimes will hard scope a lane and not pay attention to what's around you. This is also very important, especially in trials. So keep that in mind, guys. So tip number 6 is a bonus tip and a nod to those who haven't played early D2 or launched D2 for that matter. So for those who haven't, early D2, it was focused mainly on team shotting, and the reason why this was a thing is because the time to kill was so much slower that you pretty much needed another I wouldn't say you needed, but it was very wise to have someone next to you and cleaning up kills, or vice versa. It just made things go a lot faster, especially in things like trials. So the tip I'm trying to say here, guys, is stick with the buddy if you can and start team shotting. This goes with just regular play as well, but it's also something to keep in mind for higher level play, especially that in trials. try to stay with your team and then shoot with them. You have a very good cleanup weapon, if not a very good, I guess you could say, prime weapon. So you can finish your weapon, you can damage an enemy and then switch to a hand cannon, or what I like to use, which is pretty underrated right now. I like to prime people with the bow and then finish off with the auto rifle, but it's your choice. Anyways, guys, if you guys like the video, by all means give it a thumbs up. If you guys have any comments or have any tips for that matter that I might not have gone over, by all means leave it in the comment section down below, as well as any feedback. I do appreciate any feedback, guys. It does help me make better content for you guys to enjoy, as well as it lets me know what I can do to improve so I can make said content. If you guys want to see any more Destiny related videos, by all means go ahead and smash that like button and hit that sub button. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.